Hey everyone, welcome to the video. Going over today's MLB main slate for the on DraftKings, the one that starts at 7. I know there's an early slate that starts at 1, but I got some stuff I got to do around that time, so I don't really have time to make lineups and sit down and just go through it all. So I'm going to go over the late slate tonight. And anyway, before we continue, if you could leave a like, subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate that. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter at cpen_16. And if you want access to my cheat sheet, just throughout the day, drop your email in the comments below, and I will email you the cheat sheet. And it also has my model in here and all this, a bunch of stats and stuff and park factors and stuff. So if you find that useful too, but my cheat sheet will be on it. So I know a lot of you guys like that. So anyway, starting off with pitcher, Justin Verlander is going to be my number one tonight, going against the Twins. He's really the only really good pitcher on the slate. So the Twins are only striking out 19% of the time, but to righties, but no one else comes close to Verlander's K percentage on the slate. He's got 34% strikeout percentage, which is the most, and he has the most upside of any pitcher tonight, and it's in a good pitcher's park in Houston, and he pitches good at home, so I really think he makes a lot of sense tonight, spending up for him, because he's got 30-point upside, and I don't think any of these other guys do. So it just makes a lot of sense to go with him. And it's not like we have cores on the slate where we're going to spend up on bats that much, so I really like spending up for Verlander, making that a priority. And then SP2, I'm really liking Jordan Lyles at 7,400. He's really cheap, and he's a favorite in PNC Park, which is a very good pitcher's park. And Arizona is striking out at a 24% clip, and Lyles has a 24% K rate, so I think there is a little bit of strikeout upside. And I really like his price for SP2 to match up with Verlander. It's going to allow you to get some good bats in, so you shouldn't really be restricted too much and have to go value hunting. So I really like those two guys today. But if you want to spend down from Verlander, I don't mind going with Eduardo Rodriguez at 9,000. He's a heavy favorite at home versus Detroit, and they have all righties in their lineup. So it's projected right now to have 9 righties in the lineup. But Eduardo Rodriguez is tougher on righties rather than lefties, so he's a little bit reverse splits, and so that will be in his favor tonight versus the right-handed heavy lineup. And Detroit's lineup's not that scary anyway. I think they have one of the lowest team ISOs, so I don't mind if you want to go with him either. And then a catcher tonight, JT Realmuto. I really want to get him in my lineups tonight. He's the number one play at catcher at 4,400. Vargas gives up a ton of hard contact to righties, including a 239 ISO, and Realmuto can hit lefties well, and he should be hitting second, so I think it's a really good spot for Realmuto. And then Wellington Castillo at 3,800. He hits lefties well and gets a great matchup versus a bad one, and Means, who gives up a lot of power to righties. So I really like those two guys. I don't have another catcher listed, because if you can't get those two guys, just fill it in as you go. I mean, just punt it if not. Then at first base, we have Rhys Hoskins at 4,700. He's better versus righties, but it's still Jason Vargas, so all the righties are in play here, and he's a good player. Then Luke Voit, 4,200. He's coming off a double dog night. He scored 32 points last night, so he's in another good spot versus Pena, who has bad splits versus lefties. Voit has a 263 ISO versus right-handed pitching as well. Then Jose Abreu at 4,800. He's great versus lefties with a 258 ISO, but he's disappointed as he disappointed his chalk last night, so you'll be lower owned, I would assume, and his price has hiked up from 3,800 a couple days ago to 4,800 now. So I'm gonna assume his ownership's gonna be a lot lower, but I do like him in this spot. And I also want to say I do like Chris Davis at 2,700. He didn't make the top 3, but I think he's an awesome spot. The Orioles are projected to score a lot of runs, and Irvin Santana is really bad, especially versus lefties. So I think Chris Davis makes a lot of sense, especially at 2,700. And he's been hitting a little bit well. I believe he's 9 for 23 his last few games, so that's pretty good. So a little hot right now, and I don't mind using him at all. And then second base, Jonathan VR at 4,700. As I said, Vegas has a lot of runs being scored for the Orioles today versus Santana, and I'm with that. So he's been a gas can to start the year. Santana has, and VR offers us some power and speed upside, and he's going to be leading off, so he makes a lot of sense. The Robinson Cano, 3,700, a favorite of mine so far this year. They dropped his price and gets a good matchup versus Velasquez, who struggles versus lefties. So I really like Robinson Cano. Then Jose Altuve, if you can spend up for him, he's 5,000, but the Astros in a really nice spot versus Littell. I think it's Littell. And Altuve has been awesome so far to start the year. So if you can spend up for him, he makes a lot of sense. But I'm really liking Robinson Cano at 3,700. But we will see how lineup construction goes. Then third base, Alex Bregman, 4,800. Just same reasons as Altuve, and I think the Astros are all in play. And he's got more power than Altuve. I mean, he hasn't showed it yet this year, but I really like Alex Bregman. He's a really good player. And then Justin Turner, 3,400. He's cheap and facing off versus lefty and Wrigley. And Turner has always hit lefties very well to the tune of 198 ISO and 398 WOBA. So I really like Justin Turner tonight, and that price is really cheap. So I think he's going to be really popular tonight. Then Maikel Franco, 4,400. He's just another righty I like versus Vargas today in that Phillies lineup. I think he's going to hit 5th, so this should be a lot of RBI opportunity too. Then at shortstop, we have Tim Anderson at 5,500. The price is really up there. My goodness, 5,500. I don't think he should be that expensive, but he hits lefties really well, and he's going up against a very bad lefty in Means, and I'd like to think his ownership would be lower being this expensive. So if you want to stack the White Sox and be a little sneaky, they should be lower owned because their prices are out of the world right now. But I think they're in a good spot, and the Orioles bullpen's pretty bad. So like him, we already went over VR. You could also add Gleyber Torres to this too. I guess I could have put him in over VR, but Gleyber Torres doesn't play too. He's only 3,900. And Xander Bogaerts, the Red Sox have a really high total tonight, and he's coming off a double dunk day, and he hits righties very well. 233 ISO and a 367 WOBA, so he makes a lot of sense too. And then the high-priced outfield, I had the whole Red Sox outfield here listed here. So Mookie Betts, Benintendi, and JD, they all have elite numbers versus right-handed pitching, and there should be plenty of runs scored here tonight. And they're in Fenway Park, which is good for hitting. So I like all those guys. I think Mookie Betts is 4,800, and Benintendi might be a little cheaper, and JD's 5,200. But so Mookie Betts really stands out at 4,800. I know he's been kind of slow to start the year, but I mean it's Mookie Betts, so he can pop off any day. But they're all great plays. And then I have the Astros outfield listed here, so it's Michael Brantley and George Springer mainly. Yeah, so Brantley really stands out to me as per usual because he gets that lefty versus righty matchup, and he always puts the ball in play, and Springer's always in play as well because he's been good to start the year. But I really like Brantley at his price because he's cheaper. Springer's pretty expensive, actually. He's like 5,300, so I really like the discount you get with Brantley. Then Trey Mancini at 5,000. I just love the Orioles tonight, and Mancini is a reverse splits batter who crushes right-handed pitching, so I think he's in a great spot versus Santana. Yeah, so he does hit righties a lot better than he hits lefties. He makes better contact. He has more power, and he walks more. So I really like Mancini. And mid-range outfield, you have Andrew McCutchen, 4,500. Just another righty I like versus Vargas. And then we have Dwight Smith Jr., 4,700. He's been great to start the year, and he gets the lefty on righty matchup versus Santana. And I really like the Orioles tonight, so he makes a lot of sense. And then Brett Gardner, 4,300. I really like lefties versus Pena, and Gardner qualifies at that, so I like him. Then in the value outfield, I have two guys I like. AJ Pollock, 3,400. He's super cheap and like him versus lefties, where he has a 227 ISO. And I liked him last night too, and he was up with bases loaded. Bases loaded, 1 out against a lefty, full count. And he swings at a ball in the dirt, man. But hopefully he turns that around and he can hit 1 out of the yard tonight. And then Ben Zobrist, 3,100. He did really good last night at the same price. He's dirt cheap, and even though I don't like attacking Buehler, I think he's fine as a one-off if you need this salary. So let's look at some of my core plays as of right now. If I can get this to cooperate. Okay, so pitcher, I like the Verlander-Lyles combo. I think that's a good way to start your lineups. It's probably going to be how the chalk goes, so I don't mind rolling with that, especially for cash games. And then third base, I like Justin Turner at 3,400. As of right now, that's all I have for the core. I'm not sure what I'm going to do or how lineups are going to look. But you can pretty much do anything you want. You should be able to spend up for most bats you like, and because Justin Turner's so cheap, and then Lyles is SP2 at 7,400. It's a good price, and Verlander's not priced out of this world, so I think you can pretty much do anything you want. For the impactful weather, I didn't see any when I first looked, so hopefully that stays the same. For the top stacks, I have the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Astros, the Mets lefties, and the Phillies, and I guess you could add the White Sox onto that, but I just didn't want to list every single team that's playing tonight. And then if you do get the link for the cheat sheet, I do put updates throughout the day on this, so you can have access to that as well. So I'd look at that up until lock. But anyway, that's all I have for the video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Remember, if you want the cheat sheet and the model and whatnot, drop your email below, and I'll send you the link in the email. And remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate that, and good luck today.